Hello, everyone. So, this is Anish, and I'm here on behalf of the National Law Training Institute. CLAT just got done, and you must be super busy with your board exams. But एक question है जो अभी तक unanswered है. That is whether you should take a drop for CLAT 2025. So, a lot of people texted me, reached out to their NLTI mentors, and asked कि भैया इतना rank आया है, but I really wanted NLS to happen, or I really wanted NALSA to happen. और मुझे लगता है, and my parents are also डिटर्मिंड कि अगर मैं एक साल और क्लैट दे दूं तो मेरा पक्का एनएलएस हो जाएगा. So all the how to tackle these questions. So that's to find a logical solution to this question and to see whether a drop is feasible for you or not. We today have among us Syed Shafaqh, who got a very impressive all-India rank of 58 in CLAT 2024. She was herself a dropper. She did not prepare for CLAT throughout a year like many others do. In fact, what she did was she prepared only for a month, and that too using only a mock test series. So आज we'll listen to Sayed. We'll see how she cracked CLAT in just a month, and we'll learn from her experiences so that we can also make a decision whether we should take a drop for CLAT 2025 or not, and whether it's worth the risk to drop everything, to not even take up a college simultaneously, and just devote everything, your time, effort, energy, money, just into giving another shot for CLAT 2025. So over to you, Sayed. You can introduce yourself. Tell us how you began your CLAT preparation. What was your motivation? And ultimately, you can move on to your slides as well.
Thank you so much, Anish. Can you just,
I'll upload the slides.
yeah, thank you. You'll remain with us throughout the session or,
So I'll be leaving in a few minutes. You can
all right,
continue and you can end the stream as well after you're done.
all right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Syed Shafaqh. I'll give my extended introduction as we go about the session, but let's first begin with what we are here for. First thing first, the session is being held by NLTI, that is National Law Training Institute. NLTI is India's first institute aimed at providing first-hand mentorship to CLAT and NLSAT aspirants. It is a one-of-a-kind initiative where they connect students directly with the students studying in NLS right now. It is run exclusively by NLS students and has produced over 40 NLS and NLUD selections. Now, why is law an evergreen field and why you should choose it? These are some of the things that we will go through throughout the session. And I'll also be telling you about a few things, such as why you should choose law as a career. Then I'll give a brief introduction about myself, why you should prioritize CLAT over all the other law examinations in India, and then I'll tell you a little about the top NLUs and why you should focus on getting an entry into those. Then we'll come to why the session is being held. That is questions that you have about taking a drop, not taking a drop, who should and who shouldn't, why you should and why you should not take a drop. Then I'll sum up with a few basic strategies that I applied during my preparation and that I would like to share with you. Now, let's begin. Mm, why do you think law is an evergreen field and why you should choose it? See, I would like to share a personal anecdote with you. And I reside in Jaipur right now, and there is this place called Collectorate in Jaipur, where all the lawyers associated with litigation, they sit there with their old rusty typewriters. And when I told my grandfather that I would like to pursue law, the only thing that he had to say was, "अच्छा तो तू collected पे typewriter लेकर बैठेगी." Why am I telling you this thing? Because that is the idea that the older generation has, and many of the people from our generation have, due to lack of awareness or due to lack of exposure, that law is something that is limited to courtrooms. But you see, gone are the days when a law graduate would end up pursuing litigation in either of the two fields, criminal or civil. Today, the opportunities in the world of law have expanded well beyond courtrooms. Being a lawyer brings with it a position of a lot of respect, and not only are you looked up to but also get the opportunity to serve the society if you choose to go into social litigation. I don't know how many of you have watched that film called Erin Brockovich casting Julia Roberts. Do you know that it was based on a true story? Yeah, that's what I mean when I say social litigation. You can be making a very big impact on society. That's what we mean when we say that lawyers are the harbingers of social change. They are the instruments of social change in a democracy, like in a huge democracy like India. You can also be a legal advisor to corporate or IT firms. You can be handling cyber and media laws, or even teach law at these schools if you have a passion for teaching. And the list is endless. Also, our population is ever growing, and hence there are going to be more litigations in cases of both civil and criminal law. Additionally, with the sustained growth of Indian economy, the dependence on professionals with legal expertise is on the rise, literally very much in demand. Right from basic purchases online to drafting terms and conditions related to multi-million dollar deals, everything is done by corporate law experts. Consequently, there has occurred a dramatic rise in demand for law school graduates, which in turn implies that for those with the requisite skill sets, that is, people who you will become, people like me, people like you, right? The growth opportunities are nothing short of endless. Just imagine all the disputes taking place within this country with the largest population on the globe will be represented by you once you become a member of the bar council. Now, to proceed, I would like to tell you a little about myself and why you should listen to me. I secured 58th All India rank in CLAT 2024, and now I am a student in NLS Bangalore. I passed my 12th in the year 2020. While pursuing my graduation in political science honors, I decided to appear for the paper with only a month left before the actual commencement of the exam. And without any formal coaching, practicing only mock tests for a month, I cracked the exam with a double digit rank and secured a place for myself in NLS. Now, let me tell you the whole story. Why you must have another thing before that. If you have any questions, just post them in the chat box, or yeah, right. So let me tell you I why I appeared for CLAT now in 2024 when I already passed my 12th in 2020. What happened was I passed my 12th in 2020, and I for the first time I appeared for CLAT in 2021, and I got an all India rank of 731, and I was allotted a seat in NLU Patiala. But due to some things that happened back home, I could not go, and I had to withdraw my admission, and I dropped the idea of CLAT, and I got engaged with other things. I started doing my graduation in BA Political Science honors, because that was a subject of interest for me after 12th. And then what happened was in 2023, a friend of mine told me that the forms are out, and why don't you just give it a try. And I said that it's been 3 years since I read anything about related to the subjects that will come in the paper. I don't know anything, I've forgotten everything. How will I do it? It's too late. And then my friend said that it's just give the paper, you've got nothing to lose. And in November, i I remember in November I decided, and in December the paper was to be held on 3rd December, and I had only a month, and so I could not study anything. I only remembered a few things, and all I could do was practice mocks, right? Because that was the only way to cover the syllabus, whatever I could do in a month. I was not prepared for the results. I was not prepared for anything. I was not expecting even to uh, be within the top 4,000. I was not even prepared to get any NLU, right? I was not even sure that I will clear the paper. But within a month, the whole November of 2023, I took a test series, and I attempted 80 mocks in a duration of 1 month. And I attempted the paper, and when the results came out, I was shocked. Everybody else was shocked that I got into NLS. I got Air 58th. and then I took admission into NLS, and that's how I am sitting in front of you today as an NLS student from being presented by NLTI to tell you whether you should take a chance again. So coming on to why CLAT out of all the law entrance exams, why CLAT? And why only NLUs and not any other private institution, especially when it comes to 5 year integrated law courses. Everybody knows that at this stage, where you have to start deciding your career options, the majority of the students will opt for STEM fields, STEM careers, science, technology, engineering, maths. We have seen it, our older generations have seen it, the obsession with science, the obsession with becoming a doctor. But among this messy competition, CLAT is a very low hanging fruit. For instance, just compare the difficulty level of the NEET paper and with the CLAT exam. Additionally, if you are able to get into the top 4 NLUs, you will be earning, believe me, you will be earning much more than the placements they get at the top IITs. And in the beginning of the session, if you remember, I told you about the ever growing demand for lawyers. Therefore, while the rest of the crowd is busy with science and maths, you can distinguish yourself from the mass and, like I said, grab this low hanging fruit. And since it is a professional course which starts right after you finish 12th, it will be very crucial in taking away the worries of your parents, giving them a sense of employment security for their children right after college. It will make their lives easier, which is, of course, the most important thing. Now, I would like to focus the rest of the session to, yeah, to motivate you to get into the top 4 NLUs and to keep your energies invested in securing a seat in the top 4. And why am I saying this? Because it is very much doable. I told you the story about myself. I told you how I got into NLS. Uh, I have prepared for the paper in just a month and I've aced it. And please don't think that I'm an exceptional student or a brilliant, gifted, intellectually gifted kid. I'm not. I'm just an average student like anybody else. But I just did my homework right. And I know that with a little bit more effort, you can easily get into your dream NLU. Just compare the kind of exposure and faculties that you will come across in the top 4 NLUs and in an NLU ranked at the 10th position. You will get your answers. To give you a more clear idea, a friend of mine studying right now in NLU Lucknow in the third year told me from his own experience. You don't have to believe me. He told me this. I'm not telling you. He told me that at the time of placements, dream firms such as Cyril Amarchandan Mangaldas seek students from the creamy layer, that is NLUs of Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, or Jodhpur. Not only that, the best foreign law firms for those of you who dream of going abroad, the best foreign law firms come to the top 4 institutions for the campus placements. Now, coming to the faculty, did you know that Dr. Debangana Chatterjee, who is currently assistant professor at NLS, recently published her book titled Lives of Circumcised and Veiled Women. It is, I would strongly recommend this book. It is a very interesting global Indian interplay of discourses and narratives in this very domain regarding women. And while we are at it, did you know that the vice chancellor of NLS, let me just change the slide, the vice chancellor of NLS Bangalore, Mr. Sunil Krishnaswamy, is also the author of Democracy and Constitutionalism in India, which is a very famous study of the basic structure doctrine. I hope everybody knows what the basic structure is. If you guys remember the 1973 Keshwanand Bharti case, yeah. So just imagine being taught by these personalities. encountering them on a daily basis, or for instance, being able to attend their lectures every day. Now, I hope you get what the craze is about regarding the top institutions. Now, coming to what this session is about, why you should take a drop, or should you take a drop at all? Why is taking a drop considered a taboo, a bad thing in our society, in our meritorious education system? And why is it not a problem in CLAT? Taking my example, why are you scared of taking a drop? You are scared because you think that you will be late, like I did. See, you think that you will get late in building a career for yourself, or you will be late in getting admission in a college as compared to your peers. It is really all about peer pressure. See, uh, the thing is, we are used to being in school. We are used to being in that environment. But after you get out of school, the competitive exams are not the same as the exams we give in 11th or 12th, right? You are scared of taking a drop because you think of it as something similar to, take an example, you think of it as something similar to failing 11th class while everybody else is being promoted to 12th. You think of it as being left out, but that is not the case, believe me. So your career is going to be 30, 40 years long, right? And if you take 1 year off, or you lose 1 year to build that career, it's not going to be a loss at all. Now, let's take two scenarios for better understanding. Then you tell me which is better and which scenario would you like to be a part of. In scenario A, you lose a year, and if you choose to drop, right, and you work harder, and the next time you appear for the exam, you get into top 4 NLUs. Maybe you even get into NLS, just like I did. And in, who knows, right? It's not that difficult, believe me. If I could have done it within a month, you can surely do it within a year. And then in scenario B, you clear the exam in the first attempt, but don't get your dream NLU, and instead you have to settle for a seat in a lower ranked NLU. Now, what will happen in scenario B? To obtain the same brand value and status as that of an endless pass out, you will have to spend at least 10 more years, whereas a student from top 4 will already have an exceptional career head start right after college. You see, you must have heard people saying that the institutes that you study at, you carry their names for the rest of your lives with you. So you have to decide what names do you want to carry with yourself, what names do you want to be associated with. And now I am assuming that you all are in class 12th right now and have already appeared for CLAT 2024, and now you are thinking of giving another attempt after taking a drop. This session will majorly be for you guys. But before that, let me also address those, little minority who are in grade 11th right now and are contemplating of not appearing for CLAT 2025 along with 12th, and instead appear for CLAT 2026. To this group of students, I would only like to say one thing: you have got one whole year. Please don't waste it. Decide your priorities and try to balance your 12th along with your CLAT preparation for 2025th attempt. Now, back to those who have already appeared for CLAT once and either, just like me, either could not get into their dream NLU or could not crack the paper at all. I would like to, please listen carefully, please pay attention. I would like to strongly emphasize that if you take a drop and give another attempt, I know for a fact that you will get in. Why am I saying this? Because I've seen the paper throughout the years, and we know that it is a paper largely based on understanding, comprehension, and application rather than something you can crack with rote learning. It is an exam based on rational thinking and common sense. Like I said, it is not something like a school education system. So be sure of yourself, because I really am sure of you guys. And because I believe that if you have attempted the paper even once, you have become acquainted with the question paper enough to be able to plan better, to be able to strategize in a manner that will help you to work on your weaker sections and enable you to spot the sillier mistakes that you made earlier and prevent you from repeating them in your next attempt. Now, a few observations that I would like to add is that if possible, along with your drop, just take admission in any of the undergraduation courses, BA, BCom, BCA, so that in a worst case scenario, which I'm sure will not occur with you guys, even if you're not able to crack the exam, which I'm sure you will, nevertheless, you would have at least completed your graduation, and after that, you can either prepare for competitive exams, you can go for UPSC preparation, or you can even go for a 3 year LLB or the newly launched NLSAT exam, about which we can talk about later, and for which NLTI provides tailored and exhaustive course compilations at very affordable rates. To sum up, let me just yeah, to sum up, I would like to tell you a few basic strategies for preparation and to tell you what I did during my preparation. See, the thing is, I have seen students taking 1 year coaching, 2 year coaching, and there are even some that I'm remembering. There are some who take coachings for 2 years and then they are not able to clear the paper, and then again they take coaching. See, I won't encourage that. Coaching is, of course, necessary to an extent, especially to get a clear picture of what is legal aptitude as a subject. It has the highest weightage in the exam. It is like around for 40 marks, I guess, and because also it is not taught to us in our schools. And the first time you will possibly read about or come across legal aptitude as a subject is when you prepare for a law exam, and there are students who give hundreds of mocks back to back, and then also they are not able to crack the exam. The mistake, see, why is that happening? The students that I'm talking about, they take coaching and then they are not able to crack it, and then again they take coaching. What mistake are they making? How are they wasting their time? And how you should not, if you decide to take a drop, what things that you should keep in mind? The mistake that they are making, and the one mistake that I want to protect you from making, is lack of analysis. Analysis will play a big role in determining your rank, in determining your score, in getting you a seat into your dream NLU. And when I say analysis, I do not mean that you attempt a mock and then go through the wrong answers and analyze them. I please don't do that. What I mean is, I also want you to analyze the right answers and the reasoning which you applied while attempting those questions. Why do students not analyze? Why are they wasting so much time? Because analysis is a process lengthier than giving a mock itself. It is a very painstaking process. Please don't avoid it and waste a whole drop here. Please go through each question and each mock. Like they say, don't worry about building a wall. Just focus on laying each brick as perfectly as you can. And at the end of your journey, you will have built a very beautiful wall. So, what happens is, during analysis, what happened with me? I remember a few kids who were like, "Ke, when I told them that I gave 80 marks and I got into LLS, they were like, "Ke, how can this be possible? We gave 120 marks. We gave some were like, we have been taking coaching for 2 years and I gave 200 marks. Why could I not get into NLS? Let me tell you why couldn't they get into NLS and why you will get into NLS if you follow these very basic things. Like I said, with a very little effort, you can get into the top NLUs. So, what is analysis? I remember during my preparation, when I only had a month left, I also used to feel very lazy during giving mocks, because taking mock is in itself is a very hectic process. You have to train your mind to sit for 2 hours, and you have to, since it is a passage based paper, you have to read the passages. It gets very lengthy. It's not just an objective paper. You have to go through the passages, so it gets very very lengthy, and by the end of the paper you are so exhausted that you just want to be done with it and throw it aside, throw it in a dustbin. You are like, "Okay, theek hai, ek mock ho gaya, do mock ho gaya." You are like finishing mocks, but you won't get any benefit out of that if you are not analyzing them. You need to attempt a mock, then you need to just take a break, and then pick up that question paper again and go through each and every question. Just take up the answer key, go through the wrong questions, go through the right questions, go through the questions that you left. Now how will you do it? You will go through the wrong questions, you will check the answer key, and you will realize, okay, my meri reasoning galat thi, and the reasoning that they have given in the answer key is right, and if I had chosen that reasoning, I would have reached the right option, I would have reached the correct answer, and I would have got it correct. I would have gained another mark. But don't only do that, go through the right answers, the answers that you got correct. Check those answers, and then check the think about the reasoning which you applied जिसकी वजह से correct answer मिला. और answer key में जाओ, go through that and check the reasoning that they have provided in the answer key. Now check if the reasoning that you applied and the reasoning they have given in the answer key, are those reasonings matched, are they matching, are they consistent. Now if they are, just try to apply, just think about that reasoning which helped you reach the right answer. Apply that reasoning in the next mock. Just try not to make those same mistakes in the next mock. Only and only if you do an analysis like this, you will be able to get better scores. You will be able to see a difference in your scores, like marks after marks. It won't happen like today you attempt a mock and you get 50 out of 120, and the next day you get 100 out of 120. You have to, like I said, lay brick by brick. You have to give it a lot of effort, you have to put in a lot of effort, right? So as you do this slowly, as you analyze each mock, each question, instead of just typing back to back box, you will realize that after some time your thought process will become clearer, and gradually you will be able to unfold the hidden layers of meanings in passages. You will be able to read between the lines, and as you ponder more over these techniques, you will be able to see different angles to the same passage. Like I said, the paper is all about comprehension. The more you read, the more you practice, your thought process will become clearer, right? Now, there are 5 sections in the paper. Please pay attention as I'll tell you a few more strategies. And if you apply these are very small things, very little things, but when you compile them, it makes a big difference. It makes a difference of ranks. It makes a difference of getting you into your dream college. And I will tell you a few things that I myself have observed throughout the preparation, and if you take care of these few things, it will surely help you with building up your overall score, right? As I mentioned earlier, the majority of the paper will be based on comprehension, which means that it is going to be a passage based paper. Now, section wise, I'll take you through the paper. I'll take you through the strategies. The first is RC, or reading comprehension, or English as you like to call it. It is a portion where you can get an edge over the others if you are already into the habit of reading. And a few books like Renan Martin and Word Power Made Easy will go a long way. And at the end of your preparation, you should be able to score at least 21 out of 24. When I started doing it, when I reached my last mocks before the actual exam, I was able to sometimes score 24 out of 24. And why did that happen? Because throughout my life, since grade 5th, I've been reading a lot of novels, a lot of books, And now I'm not saying that now you should pick up novels. No, this is not the time. But just get into the habit of reading, even if you are like, we'll come to that newspaper reading part. But whatever you can read, even the Hindu newspaper. So get into the habit of reading even while attempting mocks. Just build don't get tired of reading, right? So I am very grateful that I'm very grateful to the habit that I got into, the habit of reading, right? So it has literally helped me a lot, and I feel like it has been a very major advantage. And because I was into the habit of reading, that's why I had an advantage over the other sections too. Because except GK and maths, everything is about reading, right? RCCR and legal. So get into the habit of reading, please. And then moving on to GK, I would like to burst a very big myth that I also had, that made me lose a few marks. And if I had not made this mistake, I think I would have scored an air within top 20. But nevertheless, I still would have gotten an LS. So the myth that I'm talking about is that you think you can skip GK passages and straight away attempt the questions since GK is objective, right? Please don't do this. Why do you get into the habit of not reading GK passages? Let me tell you why. Why did it happen with me too? Why will it happen with you? And why you should avoid it? Because the mock tests that the coaching institutes provide are generally very lengthy, and they have to be lengthy because, you see, if you attempt lengthier papers during the time of preparation, then only you will get into the habit of a 2 hour sitting, and then only you will be able to attempt the actual paper. So it's not, there's nothing wrong with lengthy papers. I'm not saying that they're misguiding you. The paper has to be lengthy during your mocks. So if you have practiced for a tough question paper, and the exam is easier, it will obviously give you an edge because you there's nothing that you haven't studied about, right? So the mock tests that you are going to give, they are going to be lengthier, right? Even lengthier than the actual paper is going to be. And it becomes next to impossible for the fast readers to complete the mock tests within the given duration of 2 hours without skipping the GK passages. But keeping in mind the 2024 paper, see, I really want you to pay attention, because whatever I'm telling you, it is from my own observations of the pattern of CLAT that has been there throughout the years, how it has evolved, right? And uh, I have observed the 2024 paper, and I'm giving you insights about that only, how you should prepare, right? So keeping in mind the 2024 paper, if the passages are smaller throughout all the sections like it happened in 2024, try to at least skim through the GK passages, because some of the questions may directly from the passage, like this time. So you might even make the mistake of skipping the passages thinking that it is an objective fact based question, and which you don't know the answer to, and you end up losing a few marks just like I did. And if the cutoffs go high, you know that even 0.25 marks can make a difference of hundreds of ranks above or below. And another thing for GK that I would like to say is, try to read the Hindu newspaper every day, or if you find the vocabulary a little difficult, if you find the language a bit difficult, just go for Indian Express. And along with that, just also along with the newspaper, try to read the GK compendiums and compilations. Since you have a lot of time left, you can do that. And because they will provide you with objective factual news, whereas editorial reading and newspaper reading will improve your comprehension as well as reading speed. Reading speed is very, very, very important to you guys. That's why you need to practice more and more mocks. See, why do you practice mocks? It's not like the questions in mocks will appear in your actual exam. No, you are giving mocks to get into that mindset that I have, okay, on this and this day I have to sit for the actual exam for 2 hours, and the paper is going to be something similar to what I've been practicing, and now I have to be prepared for that. So, and I have to sit in a group of people, a crowd, and I have to be prepared, and I do not have to panic. So, in order to get you in that mindset, you have to appear for more and more mocks, right? So, and mocks will also help you with your reading speed, because see, the first time you start giving mocks, the first few mocks, it's going to be very demotivating for a few kids, because they won't be able to finish the paper in time, and they will have to leave a few sections. I remember kids leaving uh, the complete section of CR, or the complete section of QT. It happens in the beginning. It used to happen with me too. I used to leave out maths completely. But as you give more mocks, like I said, I gave 80 mocks. By the end, just believe me, by the end of my preparation, in the 80th mocks, in the last 10 mocks, I got so good at managing my time that for maths, I used to, for QT, I used to have half an hour remaining, and I had so much, time remaining at the end of the paper. So if you manage your time properly, and if you give more marks, you will learn how to manage your time. You will be able to increase your speed gradually. Now, moving on to legal aptitude, as I told you, it is something that you have never studied about in your life before. It is not taught anywhere else. The first time you'll come across it is during your CLAT preparation, and it is something. Legal aptitude is something I believe that cannot be aced without thorough understanding of the subject, because you see, you need to be very clear about the concepts. uh, I remember where I used to fumble in legal aptitude when questions, especially about culpable homicides or murders, they can be extremely confusing. You're not able to not able to figure out the minute details, the technicalities of the confusing topics, right? And you will get confused during the actual paper too, if you are not very clear with the with the differences between each topic, with the differences, and with the minute, very minute details, and who will be able to differentiate between these things. Only a student who has thoroughly read the whole syllabus, who has thoroughly read the concepts of legal aptitude, right? And now for CR or critical reasoning, the problem that you might face, and the one which I used to face, was that I used to obsess over the same topics that I was good at. I was good at conclusion, strengthening and reasoning, flaw in the argument, parallel reasoning, corollaries. I was very good at them, and and I used to avoid those topics where I used to get my answers wrong, where I was losing my marks. For instance, everybody, like everybody else, right? Everybody else is also, I think, most of you would enjoy standing and reasoning questions, or drawing the argument questions, or conclusion questions for that matter. But when I moved to assumption based questions, I faced a hell lot of trouble. Why? Because I was so used to doing the same type of questions, conclusion, strengthening, weakening, conclusion, again and again. I was unable to change my strategy while doing the assumption based questions. क्या होता है कि है ना, हमने एक कंक्लूजन की शीट कर ली 30 क्वेश्चंस की, उसके बाद अगर हम अजम्पशन की शीट उठाएंगे ना, तो अभी हमारा माइंड जो है ना, वो उसी प्रिंसिपल को फॉलो कर रहा है जो हम अप्लाई कर रहे थे कंक्लूजन का क्वेश्चन करते वक्त. अब आप अजम्पशन का क्वेश्चन करोगे तो इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम फॉर योर माइंड to get out of that strategy, to get to desensitize yourself to that principle you were applying while solving the conclusion based sheet. So why does this happen? Because maybe you are not like me, you are not practicing a diversity of questions. Please don't do this. Go through the principles of each variety of questions, apply those principles carefully, and practice a lot. And don't expect that your score will improve overnight, because it won't. You need to take a lot of pain, and you need to make this drop worth, please. And now for those who think that they can they can leave the QT section in the exam and still ace the results. Please get this idea out of your head before you lose another year and then blame it on me कि इसने बोला था drop कर लो, and now we are stuck. Sometimes what happens is, in the case of like in the case of 2024 paper, the level can be in the range of easy to moderate, the level of the paper, right? So cutoffs will be touching the sky. The cutoffs will be so high that you will have to make sure that you don't even lose a single mark. And if you are able to score good in QT, it will surely give you an advantage over those who left the section altogether. See, now I'll tell you how I prepared QT, because as you all know, and this question might be popping up in your head कि इस ये तो बोल रही थी इसके पास एक ही महीना था, and now she's giving us all these strategies. She's saying she did this, she did that. How did she do it in a month? Like I said, I did not have time to prepare every subject separately or individually, and I did not have time to go through the syllabus, the whole syllabus, in one go. What I used to do, especially for maths, I was so poor at math, uh, uh, and I also, like you, I also thought that I can leave QT, right? Then also I will get into like a top NLU, because earlier the paper did not. Earlier the paper didn't used to be that easy. The level of paper keeps changing. Sometimes it's easy to moderate, sometimes it's moderate to difficult, sometimes it's very difficult. So if it is easy, don't be happy. I remember that when I attempted the 2024 paper, it was so easy that when students were coming out of the center, exam center, they were celebrating already that my paper went so well. And I remember I overheard few students saying कि मैंने तो QT छोड़ दिया, because I know that I have done so well in the rest of the sections that I will ace the paper. Thank God that I did not leave QT, and let me tell you why. Because if the paper is easy, it is easy for everybody, right? It's not just easy for you, and hence the cutoff will go very high. And like I said, you will have to make sure that you could score as much as you have to. You have to fight for a single mark, right? So what I used to do was, like I said, I did not have enough time. The moment I started giving mocks, the first mock that I gave, the first few mocks that I gave, 10, 20 mocks, right? I left the QT altogether, because in the beginning I was just trying to cope up with the speed. I was just trying to cope up with the length of the paper. I was just focusing on the fact कि 2 घंटे में मुझे मेरा पेपर फिनिश करना है, right? So step by step you have to work on things. You have to work on speed, you have to work on reading, you have to, then at the end, when everything is done, then you have to make sure कि are you able to finish the whole paper within the 2 hours. So what I used to do was, I used to leave the QT section, because I was very very bad at maths. Yeah, I remember when I was in 10th, I was the only reason I chose humanities in my 11th was because I was very poor at calculations. So for the students like me who think that they are so poor at math that they cannot uh, clear any competitive exams, even CLAT, because they include maths, please don't worry. Just listen to me. Just take my example. The first few mocks I used to leave QT, and what I used to do was, ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने पेपर दे दिया और छोड़ो, मैथ्स तो करनी ही नहीं है, मैं तो छोड़ के आ जाऊंगी मैथ्स, ऐसे नहीं करना है. The moment you sit for your mock, you give the mock, you finish everything that you can in that time, and afterwards, not just for QT, but for all those sections that you were not able to finish in that 2 hour duration, just pick up the paper after a break, pick up the paper and go through those questions, go through QT, go through those questions that you were not able to finish in 2 hours. I For myself, I was able to finish everything else except QT, right? My case was where in English I was able to do 5 questions in like 2 minutes. I was taking 10 minutes for one question of QT. So this was not a intelligent strategy to attempt QT. So what I did, paper ke baad, I used to go through each and every math question. Since the time that the pattern has changed, earlier it was 150 questions, and now now CLAT consists of 120 questions. The number of questions have also reduced in QT, and now you get around 12 questions, which are divided in either three passages or two passages of six questions, right? Or four questions in each passage, and there are three passages. So what I used to do was I used to go through each passage, I used to go through each questions, and however much time it took me, sometimes I remember I used to get stuck on a question, and it used to take me 2 hours, 1 hour. And I was so worried in the beginning that it is taking me like an hour to complete the QT section, then also I am not able to solve a few questions. How will I do it in the actual exam? That's when the myth develops कि हम QT छोड़ देंगे, ऐसा नहीं करना है. What happened slowly as I practiced more, I was if what I would suggest, and what I used to do too, you can either find someone senior to you, or you can find your teacher. If you're still in school, you can contact your math teacher or anybody or your parents who's good at math. Sit with them, just tell them your doubts, share with them your doubts, or send your doubts to your teachers, right? And discuss each and every question with them. Don't worry about seeming dumb in front of anybody, right? If you take out your insecurities in the open during the preparation, believe me, you will be so confident in the actual exam that nobody will be able to stop you from getting into NLS, right? So practice each and every question, discuss each and every question, discuss even the silliest of the silliest doubts with your teachers, with your seniors. And what will happen, slowly, gradually, you will realize that there is a specific type of question that you're able to attempt, right? That अगर उस टॉपिक में से क्वेश्चन आ गया तो कितने डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन हो मैं तो वो कर लूंगा. This happened with me कि the ratio and proportion questions and the percentage questions, I was able to do them so well that I used to literally pray before attempting my QT कि काश percentage का question आ जाए, काश ratio and proportion का question आ जाए. So if there were 12 questions, or if there were three passages, and out of those two were from ratio and proportion or percentage, I used to attempt those and leave that one passage which was not from any of these topics. Just like this, gradually, topic by topic, you will be able to solve questions, not only from a few group of topics. You will be able to solve questions of mensuration, right? You will be able to solve questions from profit and loss. You will be able to solve graph based questions. So slowly what will happen, कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर होते जाएंगे आपके धीरे धीरे. अगर आप टॉपिक्स करते जाओगे, सॉल्व करते जाओगे, प्रैक्टिस करते जाओगे, तो डिस्कस इट विद योर टीचर्स, डिस्कस इट विद योर सीनियर्स, राइट? Slowly a day will come in the actual exam when you will see the QT section and you will think, okay, this is the easiest that could be, right? And you will realize that it was nothing to be fearful about. So the only advice that I will give is practice as many mocks as you can, and don't be scared of maths or of anything else that you might be fearful about. Don't be scared. It's just a matter of time, it's just a matter of practice, it's just a matter of hard work. The more hard work that you put in, the better your results will be. Please take my case study. I literally cleared the paper in just 1 month, and you can do it too. Please believe me, I'm not an exceptional kid. I never was. And I was just average like everybody else. Then also I was able to clear the paper in only 1 month, and I'm still in awe of that fact. And you can do it too. Why, you literally can do it. I can assure you, right? So just remember that it's not about giving more mocks, mocks after mocks. Just make sure that you're analyzing the mocks, right? And with that, I would like to conclude this session. We still have some time left. If any student has any queries, please feel free to post them in the chat box or the comment box. And if not, if later on you remember any queries, or if you have any questions, just contact me through this channel, or post them on my mail or NLTI mail, or on the NLTI website. My mail is shafaqsayed@gmail.com. And if anybody has any questions, please post them. All right. With this, I would like to end. Thank you very much.